My child, my dear, I never intended to approach you in this manner. However, heaven cannot remain silent. You continued to walk past countless warning signs, including subtle whispers, dreams, delays, and gut feelings that made you pause for a moment. I, Archangel Michael, am currently communicating with you. You made a grave mistake by entering a room that was not meant for your use. I made an effort to stop it. I requested more time, but you didn't respond. Currently, an object that should never have been released is approaching you. Act quickly or face the impending challenge alone. You will have one last chance to act as soon as you start reading this message. Nonetheless, if you retreat or delay, unfavorable consequences will occur quickly and violently, much like a tsunami accumulating behind a dam that can no longer contain it. Please remain vigilant as I continue to advocate for you. My beloved child, if you are still present, you can access your essence. It implies that the damage could still be repaired. Despite this, you are unable to disregard the situation once more. This omen should not be interpreted as a mere coincidence. This is the result of a combination of human effort and divine will. Whether you knew it or not, your actions disrupted God's plan for your life. When you engaged in an activity, signed a contract, or expressed an opinion, you allowed the wrong energy to be associated with you. It is gaining strength and is already influencing how you perceive yourself, how others perceive you, and how blessings are bestowed upon you. There is no doubt that many people have noticed the changes, delays, uncertainty, increased tension in previously peaceful environments, and people withdrawing without explanation. You did not create this. It serves as a reminder of the error you made. Unfortunately, I am unable to supervise your course of action. I am here to provide you with one last divine intervention before the moment passes. The events unfolding in the background will be irreversible if you do not act now. Please allow me to ask a question before I continue, my beloved and adored. Are you genuinely ready to understand God's perspective on your actions? Are you prepared to learn the truth that no one has ever told you? This is an extremely serious message. This truth may be difficult to understand. However, it is because God loves you too much to deceive you. That is why I felt compelled to send this message to your soul with passion, not to frighten you, but to raise your consciousness. You were created with a purpose that goes beyond the cycle of anxiety, worry, and feeling trapped. Nonetheless, the spiritual border you crossed unnoticed triggered a chain of events. A delay was initiated. In paradise, a warning was given. Nevertheless, you persisted in your progress. This brings us to the current moment. It is critical to understand that the current events may continue unabated if you choose to withdraw. This is the moment of clarity when you can choose whether to move forward or remain in the shadow of your decision. Now is the time to respond to your spirit's call to seek clarity. Accepting this truth not only helps you understand the meaning of these words, but it also makes you more open to receiving additional divine guidance, warnings, and insights. This acceptance lays the groundwork for aligning with God's activities in the present and future. I implore you to communicate your agreement to me in a way that is both discreet and effective at this time. If you agree with this assertion and value clarity over uncertainty, let your spirit confirm its readiness. Paradise is notified by your heart's consent that you are awake, ready, and eager to escape the snare. Allow your emotions to flow as you make this decision, and stay with me as the next steps progress. It is unnecessary for your pulse to be racing right now, my child, my darling. Your spirit is telling you that the truth is on the way. That is the wisdom within you awakening, despite the adversary's efforts to prevent it. You may now ask, what is the error? What actions have I taken? This was the enemy's exact goal: to hide you, divert your attention, and exploit your name in a venture that was never meant for you. Nonetheless, divine intervention proved necessary. Heaven temporarily suspended the plan. I intervened to prevent the impending event. Despite my strength in paradise, I am unable to persuade you to accept the reality that you continue to deny. It is critical that you continue reading, as this message contains the key to undoing your actions before they become permanent. If that happens, I won't be able to stop it. Before proceeding, carefully consider these words. If you focus on this truth, I expect you to take action that will open up a new pathway for God. If you are ready to make a commitment, express it in your spirit. When you commit to this path, you are doing more than simply acknowledging a message. You're telling heaven that you're ready to receive God's instructions, warnings, and miracles. You are joining the army of God, and I will personally protect you with my wings. Ignoring this reality may result in the divine counsel you seek not being delivered in a timely manner. I understand that your heart is heavy, my beloved child. I am aware that tears were shed. I understand that you made every effort. Bad things can happen with deliberate intent, even if you are unaware. Currently, an unintentional action you took has brought someone into your life who was never supposed to be there. This person conceals their envy with a smile. They hide their dissatisfaction by portraying themselves as advocates. They were taking notes when you made the decision. They were adequately prepared. They quickly exploited a weakness in you when you performed that maneuver. This is why I felt compelled to deliver my statement quickly and forcefully. When it comes to closing the gate, timing is everything. In order to reveal the events that heaven witnessed, you must read this message in its entirety. If you withdraw now, you may never find out the individual's true identity or the intended use of your name. I am aware of you, my beloved child, and I am curious as to what you missed and how something so important could be concealed within something so small. Nonetheless, isn't it true that the adversary consistently uses methods that aren't visible, audible, or publicly declared? This happened when you put your trust in someone who was unworthy of it, when you made a decision without seeking spiritual counsel, or when you accepted an offer despite a voice within you warning you that it was not the best option. The enemy is never portrayed in their true, monstrous form. They manifest as the object you expected. They exude an abundance of vitality, make extravagant promises, and are exceedingly generous, which captivates your spirit. You allowed it to happen because of your unspoiled spirit. Nevertheless, God acknowledged it. As your guardian, I have been held accountable for the effort made behind the scenes to avoid the cost of that moment. Nonetheless, my dearest, I can no longer suppress it. This is why the divine notification arrived at the exact time it did. It had been meticulously planned by God. You are about to face the consequences of your hesitation, delay, and folly unless you finally accept this reality. I would be grateful for the opportunity to communicate directly with you. The urgency of this message stems not from anger, but from the need for immediate action. We are not always aware when we have inadvertently crossed a line, such as when we fail to recognize indicators, wait for an unreasonable amount of time, or put our trust in the wrong person. You are permitted to feel remorse as a result of this. Growth begins with the loss of comfort. No, this is not a form of punishment. It is a method of raising awareness. You still have the ability to resolve the problem provided you act quickly. This is not a minor issue. Stay until the end, as understanding this movement will keep you from making the same mistake again. I can imagine you, my beloved child, inquiring again about the significance of the matter you overlooked, and how something so important could appear so insignificant. Nonetheless, is it not true that the adversary consistently uses methods that are not visible, audible, or spoken? If you have put your trust in someone who should not have been trusted, if you have made a decision without divine guidance, or if you have agreed to something that contradicts your instincts, this message is for you. Initially, the adversary lacks antlers. They appear to be exactly what you need, with a lot of allure and promises that are too good to be true. You embrace it because your heart is pure. Heaven, on the other hand, did not ignore it, and I, as your guardian, have been working hard to keep that moment from becoming too costly from beyond the curtain. Beloved, I can no longer wait. This is why you are receiving this urgent message right now. It had been meticulously planned by God. If you do not allow this truth to fully awaken you, you will face consequences for your silence, delay, and error. I have no desire to harm you, my beloved child. I am expressing this to reveal the truth, as you are entitled to your own point of view. You have the right to know about the entities that have been lurking around you, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. In public, someone expresses positive feelings about you. However, when you are alone, they cause you distress. Throughout your spiritual journey, they mimic your words, brilliance, and blessings, transforming into parasites. What was the justification for allowing them entry? It's possible that you were motivated by compassion, regret, or familiarity. Nonetheless, this person opposes your ascension, and the actions you took not long ago gave them the access they were looking for. I'm not here to sympathize with you. I am here to restore you to your previous state of alignment. Nonetheless, I am unable to complete it independently. To stop this action before it harms your reputation, finances, or future, you must listen to my message until it reaches the depths of your being. I suggest that we avoid assuming that everything is in order. Please refrain from dismissing this discomfort as mere coincidence. It is critical that you acknowledge the reality. An unworthy individual acquired a sacred object from you. My beloved child is currently developing ideas for a project. They have gained tremendous courage since your most recent encounter. I witnessed it. Those around you perceived your hesitation as reasonable. People were led to believe you were vulnerable because of your calm demeanor. They used derogatory language toward you because they assumed no one could hear them. However, in heaven, every sound is audible. And I, Archangel Michael, I'm more than just a messenger. I am prepared to serve as God's instrument of justice. Nonetheless, I am unable to strike until you stop resisting. I need your affirmative response. Not the affirmation you say aloud, but the one ingrained in your soul. The form of affirmation that demonstrates your willingness to give up what you value in order to protect your own well-being. You have wasted your energy by attempting to rectify what God has already directed you to abandon. Yes, in a sense. As time passes, the roots will become more difficult to extract due to their increased depth. Furthermore, beloved, if you knew the wonders that await you in paradise, which is only accessible to this individual, you would not hesitate any longer. My beloved and beautiful one, there is one more matter you must understand. A spiritual gathering has been scheduled in your honor. It was expected that a miracle would happen at this point, however, it did not. Are you able to comprehend? Heaven refuses to bestow treasures on defiled ground. It is impossible to have both a sacred and destructive presence. This is a result of your error. Delay, fog, and lack of alignment. It was ended by divine intervention. However, the blessing is yours. It has yet to be transmitted to another person, but time is running out. The divine blessing intended for you may be overlooked if you continue down this path and are unable to fully comprehend the lesson due to pride, humiliation, or fear. It was not due to your inadequacy, but rather your failure to adequately prepare. Please prevent this from happening. I speak with urgency, which makes my spirit tremble. Nonetheless, God and I will scrutinize your conduct in the coming season. He is still eager to deliver it to you. My beloved, the error you made did not result in your dismissal. Instead, it provided an opportunity for a test. Every action you take from here forward is a spiritual decision. You are being watched, but not out of fear or retribution. You can find hope in paradise. People from your past are currently observing you. Heaven isn't interested in hesitation. If you pass this exam, you will not only be restored, but also have increased efficiency. The problem will be solved by replacing it with an even more exceptional alternative. However, this can only be accomplished by resolving the problem at this time. There are people in your life who exist solely to obstruct God's work. If you listen to this message and stop avoiding the truth, your soul will already be aware of this information. Regardless of how difficult it is, letting them go is imperative. You are not required to explain to anyone, including my child and beloved. It is unnecessary to explain why some people, despite their outward smiles, elicit an unexpected reaction in your workplace. You are not required to explain a discrepancy if you are unable to do so. Heaven does not require it. That is an example of discernment. It has recently become more intense because your soul has informed you that the spiritual barrier that had previously protected you has been breached by a minor mistake you made. The adversary negotiates by whispering, delaying, and making subtle adjustments. These items cause feelings of confusion, exhaustion, and bewilderment. You've taken into account the rate at which favors appear and disappear. You've thought about why your relationship with those you used to trust has been deteriorating over time. This is due to the fact that the access point was not deactivated. You granted them authorization, but did not revoke it. This message gives you the opportunity to strengthen your spirit and restore your relationship with God. If this message resonates with you, remember that the anointing is not destroyed. Rather, it is strengthened by the delivery of a prophetic word. God's work within you may lead to a breakthrough for a close relative. This type of communication may be interpreted as an act of obedience. This is the point at which the planning process turns into action. Declare this truth in your spirit if you are ready to reclaim your alignment and close all the doors you should not have opened. You are no longer suspended. You have actively chosen to align. Please be patient. The following section will show the initial possibilities that this option offers. Please refrain from further postponement. I'm currently standing over you with my sword drawn, but I need your permission to strike. If you are willing to give up the activities that have been draining you, you can receive divine protection without any conditions. Confirm the truth in your heart. As previously stated, you agree to the terms. This implies that you no longer intend to fight solo. Accept this truth, let go of any uncertainties, and stay focused on the present moment. The next steps include regaining control of your life and beginning the healing process. This isn't just about protecting my beloved child. It is necessary for a more significant goal. You own a truly unique item. Others cannot duplicate your radiant quality. This is the reason why some people try to exploit you. Despite your best efforts to live in silence, certain people will continue to drain you because your light can be seen even in the darkest places. When you made that mistake and allowed that person to approach you, you faced more than just spiritual turmoil. Your peace, clarity, and divine favor decrease as you rely on anything other than heaven. Nonetheless, it is still possible to resolve this situation. If you are willing to listen, you must admit that you were aware of the situation but were hesitant to address it. The outcome is not meant to trap you. The situation will not improve on its own. They will remain unchanged until heaven has the opportunity to fully intervene. My waiting area is near you. Without your invitation, I am unable to act. Please do not disregard this, my beloved child. There is someone who appears to be on your side, but they are actually motivated by your downfall. In public, they express positive feelings toward you. However, they have reservations in their heart. They conceal your true identity in order to keep you from progressing to the next level. It's highly likely that you've entertained the notion that you are the problem. That isn't your identity. This is the result of being spiritually connected to someone who has malicious intentions. You still have time. Heaven chose this precise moment because all of their preparations were nearly complete. If you make one more error, your reputation, income, family, and spiritual energy may suffer. Nonetheless, it is critical to remain alert and let this information permeate your mind. I am capable of breaking the destructive cycle at its inception. You may be wondering why God allowed this to happen, my child, darling. The divine will that kept you from proceeding sooner? Nonetheless, your spirit has received advice. You were requested to respond. You had visions. Because of previous adversity, you refrained from acting on your instincts. You entered into a phony agreement out of a desire for peace. You were eager to move forward, so you succumbed to the pressure, mistaking it for an opportunity. However, God has never left you. He could only reawaken you, not destroy you. This is a demonstration of divine kindness. You have the option to start over with this message. It is more than just a cautionary tale. It also represents an opportunity for change. This is more than just a disagreement. It is a critical point. Time is flying by, despite the fact that it is not yet too late. This is why I must now raise my voice. This message is especially meaningful to my beloved and offspring. You are in this situation not by accident, but as a result of an impending spiritual catastrophe. Heaven is making new plans in response to your decision to acknowledge this message. A new outcome is now possible. However, you must persevere. Avoid haste. Kindly refrain from skimming. Each phrase has the power to transform someone's soul. With each sentence, you close a door that had been open for an extended period of time. If you stop the process now, it will be incomplete. Nonetheless, if you remain determined, they will be unable to cause you any serious harm. You'll emerge with blessings, strength, and clarity. Please remember this, my beloved child. God consistently provides redemption before composing the conclusion of his stories. Heaven's mercy ensures your safety, even if you make a mistake. Regardless, love does not always whisper. It occasionally produces a rumble. The current eruption of love is due to the high stakes involved. My dear child, the situation at hand is far more serious than it seems. You are no longer the only person affected by the consequences. Your reputation, well-being, and peace of mind have all been harmed by the negative spiritual energy that was allowed into your being. It is possible that you have not yet fully comprehended it. Persistently believing that the situation is unreal and that everything is fine will lead to regret. You may one day awaken and wonder how something so perfectly matched could have slipped away from you. I am excited to share this information with you. To fulfill the divine obligation, you must act. Increase your spiritual awareness. It is critical that you reclaim the spiritual resources that you have unintentionally forfeited. My child, my dear, the adversary misinterpreted your silence as submission. You did not express any opposition. Your previous strategy was unsuccessful. You tried to keep the peace in the hopes that your kindness would improve the situation. You failed to set your boundaries. Others perceived this as a weakness. Others mistook your dimming of your light to alleviate their perceived suffering for weakness. The person with whom you have allowed an excessive level of intimacy now believes they have more control over your life than they do. This isn't just an emotional betrayal. This is a deep spiritual grievance. They were aware of their actions when they infringed on something sacred to you without your permission. They do not deserve any additional trust. Please do not enable them. Avoid defending or advocating for someone who has been subtly robbing you of the divine goodness that was meant for you. I understand that confrontations may cause anxiety for you. You are not interested in engaging in combat. You have no desire to cause harm to others. However, how about you, my child? What about the pain you've kept from yourself? It takes an enormous amount of energy to protect those who will never defend you. This is not meant to evoke feelings of regret. It is designed to arouse you. You were selected. Do you recognize the profound significance of this? Before you took your first breath, God chose you to be blessed. This is why you cannot travel like the rest of the population without using discernment. It is not permissible to provide assistance to anyone. You cannot invest your time, heart, attention, and loyalty in people who were never meant to be a part of your divine journey. It wasn't just a poor decision that was wrong. It was a spiritual misalignment. God previously attempted to resolve the issue in a gentle manner. However, it is now necessary to confront it with clarity, similar to a cleansing storm. Disruptions may occur. This process will also reveal the clarity you seek, but you must examine areas that appear to be contrary to your desires. You have experienced spiritual assaults as a result of your interactions with specific people. Your energy depletion was not accidental. Premeditation was used. The person who has accessed your energy, my child, my beloved, is very aware of their actions. They observed you. They observed your habits. Their attempt to assimilate was to reproduce your essence. They used your light to create the illusion of their own safety. They have positioned themselves to benefit from your blessings while avoiding your burden during this time. That's not from God. That is extremely unpleasant. Refrain from allowing guilt to entice you into a form of loyalty that God never intended. Don't confuse history with destiny. People who have been a part of your life for a long time do not have to stay. You allowed a few people to stay despite the fact that they were only meant for transit. Currently, they are preventing you from receiving the divinely intended blessings. God is not punishing you, but He will not tolerate spiritual clutter that obscures valuable blessings. It is critical that you resolve this issue as soon as possible. I was in close proximity to an event that had the potential to drastically alter the course of your life, my child and my beloved. I witnessed it. It had already started to move toward you in your spirit. The error caused a ripple, despite the fact that all of the pieces were in alignment. The agreement you negotiated, the door you opened, and the person you briefly allowed to enter suspended it, but it was not terminated. During this intermission, the darkness wishes to have you fall asleep again, miss your opportunity, and introduce the wrong person into the next chapter, causing God to rewrite the predetermined course of action. It is unnecessary for you to allow that. This message sounds an alarm. Certainly, I am reawakening you, but not in a gentle manner. Heaven will not be joyful unless you maintain your identity. You've been picked. You've been recognized. Heaven and hell are both keeping track of your behavior and predicting your future actions. Please be advised, my beloved and child. The enemy does not always obstruct blessings. Occasionally, it is due to your unwillingness to give up an item that heaven has instructed you to do. Your fate will remain unchanged. It anticipates your adherence. You believed you could improve the situation by demonstrating enough affection for them and ignoring the warning signs. You were never held accountable for it, though. You're not God. Refrain from accepting the responsibilities of those who have repeatedly harmed you. It is not your responsibility to supervise people who only seek help when they are in need. I express myself with divine fortitude. You will not receive the blessings for which you have prayed unless you are open to accepting them. This outcome is unavoidable if you continue to ignore your emotions and allow those who betray your trust to escape responsibility. Dearest child and beloved, I must bring to your attention a matter of extreme importance. It will protect you regardless of the discomfort. Someone made disparaging remarks about your name and mocked you behind your back. They acquired your vulnerabilities not to keep you safe, but to exploit them. They were audible to me. The tone was audible for me. I noticed that they changed your words. This should not cause fear. I, Archangel Michael, am authorized to deliver this message from heaven. This person is not who you believe them to be. If you let them stay close to you for another week, they'll steal a sacred item intended for you. Their goal was never to achieve love. My beloved child, it was strength. Your recent malaise is caused by your spirit. You absorbed energy that wasn't meant for you. That is the displacement, the weight, the fog, and the absence of joy. Your soul keeps an object that your spirit has discarded. As soon as you made that mistake, the transition began. I tried to delay the consequences. I tried to capture your attention, but your independence continued to impede my efforts. It's now time. You are required to choose. Or allow the error to guide you to a future that was not intended for you, or align with the divine. It is a painful experience to realize that you placed your trust in the wrong person, my child, my beloved. Nevertheless, the pain is intended to serve as a wake-up call rather than to inflict death. You were a model of honesty, kindness, and transparency. The enemy observed and provided solace. However, their true intentions were kept secret. Nevertheless, you are under the protection of God. I support you. I am eager to hear your statements. That is sufficient. Please allow us to put an end to this deception. I have had enough of this. I am not preoccupied with solitude. You were never alone. Your surroundings were populated. Nevertheless, your decision is irrevocable, regardless of whether you are in paradise. You are obligated to select liberty. The spiritual world is already in motion as you read these words, my child and beloved. The gate will be unlocked. The obstructions are diminishing in prominence. Your spirit has been roused, and I am under the impression that a sacred record is being reopened in heaven. Your identity is once more disclosed. You are regaining your authentic self. The fog that obscured the error is gradually dispersing. You are now able to observe the matter that was previously a source of concern. Consequently, I am now capable of providing you with more in-depth guidance. A blessing is so close that it is almost tangible. However, it can only be obtained by adhering to the divine directive prior to the conclusion of this message. It is inevitable. There is no requirement for leaping. You have arrived at the appropriate time, and I will help you complete each step. I am unable to safeguard you if you opt to postpone your spiritual alignment at this time. Decisive action is necessary for your spiritual journey. If we hesitate at this time, we would be extending the duration of this conflict, which is not the course we favor. Continue. Continue reading. You are more imminently approaching a breakthrough than you have ever been. It is not advisable to walk independently during this season. You will remain in sync with the prophetic flow that God is employing in this context by remaining in alignment with divine guidance. This establishes a connection to messages that guarantee your safety, prepare you for future assurances, and prepare you for the unknown. Abiding in the presence of God's current message is a means of achieving alignment. This information is intended for my child, my darling. This is rather apparent. The enemy's time is restricted. You now comprehend the reason for the personalization of the assaults. This accounts for the increased degree of perplexity. Subsequently, the individual whom you believe to be trustworthy abruptly altered their behavior. It is not a random act. It is a sign of the Spirit. Heaven is preparing to bestow an extraordinary gift upon you, and your life is about to undergo a complete transformation. Nevertheless, darkness's objective is to prevent you from accepting it by causing you to become entangled, upset, and distracted. I was subsequently dispatched to my destination as a result of the fact that I only recently received this communication. This concludes the case for the time being. This action may not be replicated. It is not worthwhile to allocate an additional year to individuals who were never likely to mention your name. God was adequately equipped. I have maintained a close watch on the situation. The moment has arrived for you to make a decision that will either delay or trigger the release of paradise. Furthermore, I would also like to request that you refrain from arriving late on any future occasions, my child. The period of delay has concluded. My dearest child, you have been subjected to an examination of your resilience. You sense that your tranquility was evaporating. That was not generated. That was the consequence of associating with the incorrect individual. The adversary was aware of your emotions, habits, and fears, and as a result, they converted an individual whom you were intimately acquainted with into a weapon. You did not desire to be betrayed. You sought a location in which you could feel at ease. Nevertheless, it was observed by heaven. This sense of contentment had evolved into a foothold, a crack in the wall, which I observed. If it is not sealed promptly, it will deteriorate. Additionally, it may be impossible to prevent it without incurring a cost, despite the strength of the petitions. I have no intention of inciting fear in you. I am disclosing this information to benefit you. By maintaining that level of energy, you consent to experiencing repercussions that were not intended by God. I must converse with the aspect of you that does not believe you are capable, my dear child. This is not the section that suggests, perhaps I deserve this. You did not intend to deceive. You did not begin a conflict with the spirit world. Your utilization was without justification. Did you yearn for love? You offered your prayers with a specific objective in mind. The adversary transformed that yearning into a trap. Nevertheless, a blunder does not diminish a miracle. Grace persists. Mercy is disclosed. Your actions did not alter God's love. This is the reason why this event is so important. No, you are not at risk. You are being drawn from the darkness and deception and into the light that has always been present. My beloved, you are not shattered. You did not exceed the acceptable limit. You have not interfered with your destiny. Nevertheless, you are in close proximity to a situation that may be hazardous. The negative consequences are exacerbated by each additional step taken down the wrong path. Your nightmares, delays, unsettling uncertainty, and plans that disintegrated without explanation served as forewarning. The presence of an individual to supervise you was a blessing. Even in that agony, my presence was tangible. I arrived to speak louder than your fear, despite your refusal to acknowledge it. The adversary will retreat in horror as they realize you are once again in authority if you complete this message and allow the instructions to fully resonate within your thoughts. My beloved, my cherished, be cautious of those influences that intend to observe your suffering, assuming that you will remain unaware. They may consider that they have circumvented the repercussions. Nevertheless, God has already disclosed their methods. The divine is aware of all actions and statements. However, God is providing you with an opportunity, despite his awareness of the future. It is an opportunity for you to separate from those detrimental influences and allow them to dissipate. Staying connected to darkness may result in adverse consequences, and God will not permit you to endure the wrath of another individual's vanity. In light of this message was received as a thunderclap. You are not experiencing a loss. You are on the verge of making an important discovery. Before your name is once again acknowledged, heaven desires that you be cleansed. Heaven has safeguarded you from a variety of challenges that could have caused you further harm, my dear and beloved child. Angels were safeguarding your future while you were asleep. I stood with you and resisted unseen forces when you were too fatigued to pray or when betrayal tore your heart. However, I require your assistance at this time. Your affirmative response is required for this to transpire. The form of motivation that facilitates the recovery of individuals from a bleak circumstance. The type of affirmation that ceases to defend those who attempt to obstruct your progress. The spiritual energy and emotional investment that you continue to provide to the adversary are unable to be released by heaven. The adversary is most concerned with your awakening, clarity, and fire, my child, my beloved. Consequently, they exerted considerable effort to maintain your spiritual and emotional confusion. Once you have fully ascended, they are unable to contact you. This message functions by cutting cords, exposing lies, and removing masks in this manner. The adversary will exert additional effort if you disregard this and pretend that you did not hear God's message through these words. I do not wish for you to relive that experience, particularly in light of the fact that you have made significant strides and that the subsequent chapter of your narrative has already been composed by heaven. My dearest child, you possess capabilities that have not yet been fully utilized. You were designed to speak, lead, interrupt cycles, and radiate a brilliance that transforms environments. Your exhaustion is not explicable. A burden that was not yours was carried by you. The miscalculation resulted in a significant amount of uncertainty, disruption, and noise, which raised legitimate concerns regarding your course. Nevertheless, any obstacles were preceded by a divine belief in your abilities. It is time to relinquish control and allow what must be eliminated to be eliminated. Clarity, healing, and favor will arrive so rapidly that you will be unable to identify your own life by the conclusion of this season. I am aware that you have been seeking confirmation, sign, or evidence that your name is still remembered in paradise, my child. This message functions as that indicator. It was not an accident that you arrived at these words. This was premeditated in paradise prior to your inquiry. Something is already in the process of transformation as you read this. I am not speaking in a state of confusion. I communicate in accordance with the principles of spiritual truth. You are aware of this. The weight is decreasing. The quantity of tears has decreased. The ambiguity is gradually becoming more comprehensible. You are gaining a more objective perspective on individuals. Not in the manner you had hoped, but in the manner in which they are actually. This is not just a coincidence. This is the method by which you achieve alignment. That is an act of ascension. Do not cease at this juncture. Prevent your gaze from straying. In order to achieve full restoration, it is imperative that you adhere to the divine directives delineated in the final section of this correspondence. I would be delighted to guide you through the process. My beloved child, prepare yourself for an unforeseen occurrence. An unhealthy influence will be removed from your life in the near future. It appears as though everything transpired in a flash. Be prepared to be taken aback, but do not be frightened. Kindly refrain from pursuing it. No, repairing it will not be beneficial. This is an exceptional release. The divine agreement did not encompass the items that are being removed. In the future, you will experience a greater sense of tranquility than you have in a long time. Identify the items that God is eliminating. Ignore the discomfort. I observed a divine release. I acknowledged the advantageous aspect. The blessing is currently en route to you. However, it will not be able to land until there is sufficient space. This is why you continue to be present. This is why you're continuing to read. Prayer alone was insufficient to initiate your activities. The subsequent event does not involve the punishment of my beloved offspring. It fosters spiritual purity. Although you may experience a brief period of isolation, this solitude can serve as a source of inspiration. Elements that are not conducive to your destiny are being eliminated by God. Heaven does not always offer immediate clarification. It arranges, displays, transfers, and modifies circumstances. It requires some time to comprehend that what appeared to be rejection was actually a form of safeguarding. You will be incorporated. You are becoming overly enthusiastic. The sentiments, thoughts, and burdens you have been carrying are inappropriate for the next chapter. This is why it's becoming too much to handle. This has resulted in an increase in the number of inquiries. As a result, some people feel excluded right now. Heaven requests that you follow a divine path. Unfortunately, it is impossible to maintain your current possessions while also acquiring the miracle. My beloved and child, a holy moment is approaching. In the near future, those in heaven will mention your name again. Not as a request for help, but as a cry for freedom. A declaration of your independence. This will trigger an emotional response. Sense of lightness in the thorax. A chilling sensation that spreads throughout the body. The previous obstacles have been replaced with a door. That concludes the matter. You prayed for this moment. Please refrain from postponing. As a result, heaven will forgive your continued errors. However, it is time to depart. That is an adequate amount of tears. Inside, you've finished the task. The subsequent action is to surrender. Abandon all possessions. My dear and beloved, you are unaware of the abundance of blessings that heaven has in store for you. Your name is engraved on a storage room. Not only will you profit financially, but you will also benefit from peace of mind, recuperation, time, and loss recovery. Every tear was substantial. No supplication was ignored. There was no waste. You will have a very different experience if you read this message in its entirety and allow it to influence you. The process of relaxation will be resumed. Your anxious thoughts will subside. The tension that existed will dissipate. This cleans the soul. That is the alignment of God. The veil is being lifted word by word. Please pay close attention to this reality, my beloved child. You were not disqualified as a result of your error, rather you were challenged to understand and apply its lessons. This cycle cannot continue, regardless of whether one prays. It is impossible to seek God's healing while close to the wound. Such behavior is not permissible because of God's immense compassion for you. This is not the verdict. This is changing the trajectory. You will no longer be required to pursue peace if you allow it to happen. It will be visible from every angle. Before proceeding with the next instruction, my beloved child, one final truth remains. When an object is on the verge of departing, it may appear to be a loss. However, it is a rescue. Even if you shed tears, they will help to shape the next blessing. You will know what to do once the new door opens. In retrospect, you will realize that heaven has been your savior all your life. My dearest child, I've noticed a change in your energy. That lack of tranquility is not anxiety. Your spirit is regaining peace. The chains are dissolving. It's a pleasure to say your name. We won't forget you. The fog has dissipated, and the world you are entering is in a state of resurrection rather than repair. Prepare the area. Prepare your soul. Someone who was previously skeptical of your abilities will soon realize that your name is synonymous with favor. You are not to defend yourself. Rather, God will speak on your behalf. You are now responsible for following the law and ensuring that your obedience is acknowledged. You are currently under Serenity's leadership. My dearest, you are currently receiving a divine transfer. This time around, there will be no complications or betrayals. To embody wisdom, you were meant to make mistakes. No, you weren't in danger. You were made more acute. As we conclude, please forward this message to someone you know who has been late, confused, or involved in a quiet argument. Connections facilitate the transmission of prophetic words. By sharing, you allow breakthroughs to reach your network and spread the anointing to others. Who knows? It's possible that what God is repairing in you is exactly what someone else has been praying for. Before we finish, prepare your heart for this moment. Consider reaffirming this commitment in your heart if you are willing to give up what is not yours and embrace what heaven has called you to. This is more than just a wish. It is a profound statement. You're letting go of old burdens to make room for new ones. In conclusion, it is critical to maintain a sense of stability, as this final act effectively protects everything involved. You have the energy of a warrior. You fought even when no one was present. Heaven never left you, even in your most vulnerable moments. This is the reason why this bounty will continue. It was not delivered to you immediately. You developed bravery through practice. Please listen to this, my beloved child, and let it go. The dispute has been resolved. The cycle of stress, instability, and dread is nearing an end. God begins each new chapter with the word, rest. You will not have to pursue what is rightfully yours. You won't beg for admiration. This is how you align. This is of extreme importance. I am glad you have decided to stay if you are still present. Warnings aren't meant to cause harm. Their goal is to ensure your safety. Everyone makes mistakes occasionally. The most important factor is the course of action you take when faced with them. You are not at risk. You are being relocated to another location. If your intuition tells you to do something now, proceed with caution. Knowing what to do offers a unique level of protection. Please pay close attention to this warning, but avoid becoming agitated. There is no reason for concern. Please be cautious. You can avoid regret in the future by addressing challenges now. Allow these final words to gently infiltrate your heart, my beloved and child. The knowledge you have recently gained is not intended to stymie your progress. Rather, it is intended to provide you with stability. Warnings are not intended to cause harm, but rather to ensure your safety. Heaven recognizes that everyone makes mistakes. What really matters is the decision you make once you're aware. You haven't retired for the evening. You are being relocated to another location. If you are currently feeling alert, it is best to trust your instincts, as awareness acts as a form of protection. I urge you to proceed with caution when reading this message. However, there is no cause for alarm. Stay calm. Strive to maintain an open mind. Address the issue. You will not have any regrets tomorrow if you act today. Allow this message to resonate within you. This goes beyond mere participation. Its purpose is to authorize an agreement. By giving your consent, you confirm that you are willing to receive God's ongoing protection, guidance, and blessings in your life. Say yes silently to the actions heaven is currently carrying out. Archangel Michael and Jesus are urging you to listen to this divine message today. I urge you to open this right away because it is extremely important. My beloved offspring, I implore you to stay until the end. A delightful and unforgettable surprise awaits you today. Archangel Michael and Jesus are both whispering your name to acknowledge your presence. I implore you to be cautious, my dear. Paradise is devoid of motion. The spirits appear to be inhaling deeply. You are on the verge of an extraordinary event, one that will be unlike any other in your life. Please avoid blinking, scrolling, and moving. A critical juncture in your spiritual journey is currently underway. This is a very important time for you because it was divinely appointed. You were constantly reminded of this message. Jesus declares, "Chosen one, we have brought you here because your destiny was being misplaced." Archangel Michael, who stands beside him with a sword of light on fire, warns against deviating from the path that has been assigned to you since birth. My child, you are aware of this, right? It's possible that your chest felt tight or that your spirit was agitated. This inner prompting is divine guidance, and it ensures that you will find the object of your search for years. Please keep from leaving until the end. You are ready to receive a revelation of divine origin. Exercise caution, my beloved children. This message from heaven is being sent today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now. It carries your name. Focus is required when Jesus signals that it is time to enter, as this opportunity is valuable. This is the reason you are present. This is why you are receiving this message now. Archangel Michael guarantees that the obstacles to your destiny will be removed once you receive this message. I respectfully request that you do not browse, move, or skip my child. The information you're about to learn will have a significant impact on your future. Stick to me. An expansive door is about to open for you. I implore you, my beloved child, to give up your thoughts and stay with me until the end. Kindly avoid skipping. As you read these words, you are about to experience a critical event. Archangel Michael is now standing behind you, confirming the existence of your miracle while you continue to exist. Pay close attention. A tremendous opportunity is currently available. Now is the time to change course. Spiritual fulfillment requires unwavering commitment. Avoid blinking. Could you possibly stop from scrolling? Continue to remain at this spot. The following paragraphs may have a significant impact on your future. Jesus says, "My beloved, I am about to reveal a secret that you have never been informed of." A one-of-a-kind event is currently underway, however, it is not open to everyone. This is purely for your benefit. You have been psychologically examined, neglected, marginalized, and physically abused. Nevertheless, heaven has seen every tear you have hidden. Today, heaven declares itself adequate. This is the reason you are present. This is why you are compelled to stay with me until the end, as an invisible barrier is about to fall in your life. Kindly avoid skipping. Avoid moving. Your name is currently illuminating the heavens. Exercise caution, my beloved children. Jesus promises, I will restore to you what life has taken away, while Archangel Michael promises, I shall demolish the final barrier that impedes